I saw Vitor Belfort do this over in Florida, over at Top Team when he was training there, and I had an exclusive invite to go watch his training. He would just walk straight up and down a 50-foot line, stepping with each strike, just doing these techniques. And what he was doing was he was improving and wiring in his skill technically. And what this means is you're not going to just throw, let's say you're throwing a 1-5. You're not just going to throw it at the regular cadence that you normally do. You're going to throw it in such a way that you're improving your skill when you throw it. And really the only way to do this is to get in your stance and to slow the strike down to where it's maybe 10, 20, 30% at most the actual speed of the combination that you're practicing. You see that? I'm not moving my arm. I'm moving my rear hip. I'm pulling the lower core of my center down. I'm letting the uppercut drop and then I'm pulling. You see that? I'm doing a tiny crunch down here, rotating that inner belly, pulling it down from the inside, letting this entire, this and this together lift up because that inner ball is twisting down. So you don't have to get too much into the complex internal workings of it. Even just externally, you can touch your shoulder. You can touch the back of your head. You can touch the top of your head. You can reach out, but like I said, not by pushing your arm out like you do in a normal punch. You reach out by pulling your rear hip back. Kind of like that exercise in martial arts school where the teacher grabs the sides of your pants and twists them. That's exactly the feeling you want to have all the way down to your feet. And again, we're just going to slow everything down and put it in combination. Touch the shoulder, grab the back of the head, reach out, punch. And the arms are just following along. It's almost better that we occasionally move our head and not do this in just a constant cadence, because we can almost get kind of like hypnotized and lose the small coordinated motions. So yeah, to start out, we can do the Jeet Kune Do or just the regular boxer's shield, you know, where we're tightly pinching. You see a lot of good fighters do it, especially ones that tip back like this, really, you know, Floyd Mayweather style, super defensive-minded fighters. But before we get to all that fancy stuff, boom, touching here, boom, touching here, and I'm throwing a left hook with no shoulder force, with no momentum. This is something they will never teach you in classes in schools, because like those line drills, it's the only pro I've ever seen do them. It's Vitor Belfort, who had 5 coaches around them and a timer. And he's obviously doing rounds of these drills. It's kind of expected that you do these at home, and you get to class and you just do the mitts, you do the sparring, you know. But ironically, in Thailand, you see a version of this in that they have you, as they say, turn the steering wheel as you throw the knees. There isn't any school in Thailand where you won't see people warm up with knees, just walking knees. And again, the knees aren't going up, they're going forward, spearing knees into the body. Every school in Thailand will have the students tuck their rear leg really tightly up in and just throw hundreds of knees and walk forward. Ironically, I've never seen a school in America, a Muay Thai school or a kickboxing school teaching Muay Thai, do that. And maybe, you know, my buddy Rodney Tony, former championship professional fighter, I saw him do this when we were training together. Back in the day, he would just walk up and down the line on the tennis courts for hours, just practicing this footwork drill. And I'm like, I was a kid, I'm like, well, that doesn't look like fighting. Why is he doing that? Well, he's working on leverage. Instead of working on stepping the foot this way, he's working on pushing down off the ground and lifting this foot. So you're leverage stepping. If I want to go that way, yeah, I can lift up this foot like I'm walking. I can lift up this foot that way I'm walking. Or I can lift up this foot, push off this foot, and slide. I can also kick this one into that one. There's so many different variations. And by really practicing airtight pivots to where both feet land 90 degrees at the same time, bam, bam, throwing combinations off of those. Fast rhythm, like you learn how to have your feet underneath you and never crossing over each other. Always this base through that push and step instead of just walking. And sometimes you walk and sometimes you rhythm. But boxers kind of intuitively know when to sit down on a shot and when to fight on their toes, which is where you give up a lot of power, but you have a lot of mobility and a lot of chance to move out of the pocket. So we're not really talking about that zoning, distancing, and angling. We're talking about this very nuanced and underrated way to improve skill, especially for total beginners. I got a buddy, I always talk about him. His name is Dan too. Has just opened my best friends in life just opened a coffee shop over down south. And we're always saying, like, let's do a trade. I'll teach you boxing and martial arts. We both lifted weights. We loved going to the gym. And he would teach me how to play guitar. I'm still terrible at guitar. And I somehow couldn't get him to learn martial arts. And one thing I noticed he was doing wrong that a lot of beginners do wrong is that you either don't have your hand in a hook position or an uppercut position, or you don't have your hand straight. There is no 3/4 punch in boxing. You got to get over that. You can think about it like a V, because you can throw a lot of great hook punches in this V shape. See that the arm doesn't scoop out, it doesn't open out, it's never really here. When you get advanced and better, you can have this kind of 135-degree, almost hook, almost straight punch. But until you get advanced, everything should be totally straight. Look at that, it's locked out, but it's not locked out, you know what I mean? The joints, the bones, the muscles have all learned how to make a bar, which is not totally straight, which is great because now we can fuse the whole weight of the body behind it. You see Israel Adesanya do this when he gets into trouble. He stops all of his techniques, and when he really needs to drop somebody, whether he's really up or really down, he'll just do this kind of stiff arm punch and just stay loose, but fuse this whole arm and body as one, because he knows that that'll draw people, and just goes, starts to kind of feint the rear hand, throw the inside leg kick, all that brilliant stuff that they do. So yeah, anyways, getting back on topic, we can do this with defense too. Look at that. I'm not practicing my normal blocks. I'm practicing it with this kind of like floating intention energy, fusing the mind-body connection, moving from the center, moving the whole body as one unit, just feeling almost like we're a marionette. The weight is dropping out of the body and coming back up and supporting us, and shooting these strikes out. It's really an effortless feeling when you're breathing with your strikes, when you're not moving from the shoulders. It's a sweet feeling when you're moving from the core, moving from the legs, the hips, the butts, the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings. Everything below here is awake and active. I always say that. And it feels like that whole chair, this whole yoga ball down here, is what's really heavy and moving what's up here. So just remember, if you want to improve skill, it's so tempting, especially if you're a beginner, you want to yoke up on shots because you know you have the athleticism and the strength and the coordination, but it's like dancing. It's like playing guitar. If I try to play guitar really fast right now, it would sound terrible. I'm a total beginner. I need to go slow and master how to hold the chords. That's the only way I'm going to get to intermediate. Same thing with fighting. And ironically, even really advanced fighters like Vitor Belfort proves, because he was doing this very slow technical shadow boxing when he was in his prime, when I went to go see him. This is good for beginners, and it's good for experienced elite world-class pros. So as I always say, get a timer ready, draw a line on the ground, or simply get a couple of hand weights, or no weights, but most importantly, get the discipline of that 3 minutes of a timer. Whether you look great or you look terrible, throw those punches. They will improve your health, your coordination, your happiness. I always say this, it's going to shake the free radicals out of the body by activating the antioxidant systems and literally reducing free radicals, moving the lymph nodes, these sponges in the body that clear out gunk, which are located in the armpits and behind the knees. The only way to really cleanse the body is to move, and to move in ways that we moved primordially when we were picking up rocks, when we were fanning the fire, when we were picking up a stick or rocks to defend our family and our tribe, doing what we did tens of thousands of years ago to develop this physique, which was not sitting sedentary in a chair watching videos. So if you're watching this right now, get up with me. If you can't do 3 minutes, make it 10 punches. Make it, if you're a regimen person like me, if you need numbers and quotas, make it that you're going to throw 100 punches. But the best thing is really the timer. Throw the timer on 7 minutes. Throw the timer on 10 minutes. See how long you can continuously punch. Keep your focus. Keep your eye on the knuckle so that you're training awareness and how to keep your eyes open and take a shot and roll with a shot. And not freak out, which is really the hardest thing in boxing. When a fighter feints you and double feints you, not wincing like you just ate a lemon and looking away. Even pro fighters get knocked out that way. So that training, that awareness training, is the most difficult thing. Punching, blocking, and Conor McGregor talked about this because he had such a strong amateur boxing background that he could light people up on the feet. He was like, he described it something like, in the heat of the moment, they're going to lose their focus because it's too much energy for them. Something along those lines. Didn't use the term energy, but he totally talked about that. He totally talked about instilling, or rather, what's the adjective I'm looking for? Making your rhythm be the one that takes over the dance between both fighters, because one fighter is reacting to the other fighter's rhythms and motions, and the other fighter is providing the feints and the rhythms and the motions. Ooh, that was a nice one. So yeah, before you really get to the force, and even the fast combinations you see I'm doing, I'm not using muscular force. I mean, I know how much muscular force it takes to knock out somebody to this part of the body. It's a great deal. It's as much power as any human being can ever have in their body, and you have to hit as hard as you humanly can to knock somebody out. And if you hit them here, and if you hit them anywhere around here, you're just useless. You might as well hit here. It's just, don't even bother. But soft targets of the face, and up here you're going to shatter your hand. But over here, everything will just destroy their world if you land clean. And you don't need this excessive force, which is where people overcommit. They throw too much force. But you see, when I'm throwing these combinations, even the Peekaboo Tyson ones, which are all hooks and uppercuts, it looks like I'm using a lot of muscular force. I'm not. I'm bracing the structure so that it stays in place. And I guess it's like punching. It's lighter than punching a basketball. It's like punching a volleyball. If you punch a basketball, it kind of hurt your wrist. But yeah, if you've ever been in a gym and sparred and actually punched somebody in the head and snapped their head back, you know what weight it is. And then you're no longer tempted to like, oh, I have to hit something so hard. I have to hit a wall up here, because you know that somebody's face is not a wall. It's like a ball on a spring. So speed, along with the amount of structural integrity in the body, the position of maximum power, which is held by joints and tendons and ligaments, which would be sufficient to push somebody over, that's all you need. That ability, that weight that you have to push somebody over, doing that quickly, to hit to the mental foramen or to the temple or to the soft targets of the face. Sorry, I pointed here. Here's where you will shatter your hand. People have a football helmet on. It's called the human skull. If you've ever sparred in a gym or in the back of a gym in South Boston and hit somebody here, you will shatter your hand if you do that full force. And I mean not just break your hand, like it will break in dozens of places. You will pulverize it like the same as punching a brick. So don't do it. Learn to target your shots and learn. It took me 20 years to develop the power to really knock somebody out with a body shot. But once you do it, it's like, man, and anybody can get it, because it's all about leverage, targeting, finding that tennis ball sized target. And once you know you have that power and that force, you can do anything, combinations, stepping punches up front to set up, like lining up, finding, slipping outside, and finding that target. Or man, if you're a good kicker, you can kick the liver, man, that's the hack right there, that's the play. So yeah, all this ranting aside, make sure you're skill improving by doing this technical work, which is really just slowly breathing with the shots and throwing them with the whole body, with the legs, with the feet, with technique. And then slowly, the more refined, fancy stuff will come. But in the meantime, breathing with the shots, moving with the entire body, having fun with the sweet science, with the technical parts of it. Because that's what it is. It's the same as playing violin. It's the same as drawing a face realistically, which I used to teach in art school, or video editing. It's an art, but it's also a skill and a science, like playing guitar or magic, sleight of hand, any of those things. Practice, practice, practice. And the more punches you throw, I know this sounds so sophomoric, but it's true, the better your skill will get. So throw those punches, put the timer on, and or give yourself a quota, 10 punches, 100 punches, 1,000 punches, whatever it will take for you to actually throw them. Throw them as slow as you can. And then of course, do some rounds, 3 minutes, where you throw them as hard as you can. But do this controlled while throwing defense afterwards, staying on balance. Or better yet, find a place where you can walk forward 20 feet and throw the shots with a step, and step every time. Just different ways you can improve your skill at home, guys. Thank you for everything. God bless. Be safe.